You can hear this. You are not alone. This is the resistance.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I am Reverend Ordo, and we're live with the No King protest in
Winchester, Tennessee. Yes, we're at Winchester, Tennessee. I, of course, am Chris Sheldon, the Tin Man with the Worldwide Resistance Network. Thank you for bringing us in, Revan. We are covering the No Kings protest in Winchester, Tennessee. It is 11 a.m. here Central Time. And
it's 9 o'clock my time.
It's 9 o'clock your time. Revan, you are in California.
Yes, I am, my friend.
Real quick, before we really jump into the meat and potatoes of anything, if you like these broadcasts, be sure to share the live feeds on all your social medias. Really helps us out. Really helps get exposure for these events. And as always, follow us on our various social medias, X, YouTube, Rumble, Facebook, all at REALTWWRN. That is REALTWWRN. And also be sure to check out our online store at Printify. Tons of great merchandise there, including our anti-No Kings t-shirts, the No Strings t-shirts that are our anti-protest to the No Kings movement, along with tons of other great merchandise.
Like this shirt I'm wearing. This is the TWWRN Shadow People t-shirt. And you can also get the Flower of Life t-shirt.
Yeah, there's tons of great merchandise there. That's just one of close to 60 items that we have there. We have shirts, hats, stickers, coffee mugs, thermoses, you name it, we probably got it on the store. Now, this is what, the third annual No Kings protest, Revan?
Yes, I believe that. Yeah.
And the question I have at this point would be, is this becoming a redundancy and just kind of a useless formality, kind of like the Million Mask March did, just kind of a tradition that kind of faded into obscurity without any having lost its meaning and its gusto? Or
I think it has.
Or is it a revitalization given the war in Iran, for lack of a better term, and other subsequent issues? A lot of people have especially Republicans now, are seeming to have an ever-growing list of grievances with President Trump, with his handling of the Epstein files, not firing Pam Bundy and Todd Blanche for their mishandling of the Epstein case, as well as Todd Blanche's pretty much flushing every investigation down the toilet, anything that he can squash in terms of criminal investigations, he seems to be squashing, and Trump, other than yelling at them, doesn't seem to do anything beyond that. You have the issue with Pfizer pretty much letting them off the hook, and now the conflict in Iran with the United States and Israel taking up arms in Iran, and that being an ever-increasing conflict. Many people would say that that's probably the kickstart to World War III. So I'd be amiss to say that there aren't grievances that the Republican Party can have with Donald Trump. And frankly speaking, I'm surprised that this turnout is not bigger, given all things considered that are currently happening in the States and around the world right now.
I think that it's run its course, but there's people across the country that still want to do it because I mean the whole no king thing is pretty much because of ICE and their actions and stuff. Plus, you got the paid agitators who are the one half of protesters, but violent half.
Yeah. Well, even at that, we're not seeing that big of a turnout here. I think we've seen bigger turnouts the last two events. The first one being the biggest, naturally. But it would seem to me that at least for many of these people, the idea has maybe run its course, especially in this weather. It's pretty cold out here today. Here in Tennessee, we have bipolar weather. It's really insane. It can be super warm 1 minute and then you're freezing your butt off the next.
Now, I know I'm on YouTube and I typed up no King's protest in Fresno, California. So I typed it up.
Okay, and what do you got?
No King protest in my hometown, the street of River Park and Fresh Fair.
Nice. We're on the corner of 2nd Avenue Southeast and College Street South. Basically in the parking lot right across the street from the post office. That big building you see in the background.
Yeah.
That would be the Winchester, Tennessee post office. And we are located right on the corner of College Street and 2nd Avenue. And there doesn't seem to be too big of a turnout here.
Give it time.
Hello. Revan, do we have any comments in the comment section? Because the way I'm holding my camera to get the widescreen, I cannot see.
No comments. If you're watching this, please make a comment here. Say your piece, and
yeah. Yes, absolutely. The best thing about these podcasts is that it's not just about the people on camera, unlike most radio shows and podcasts where they'll throw out a hotline number for you to call in and they'll take a small number of calls. We have comments open throughout the entire broadcast of every broadcast. We are probably one of the only, if not the only, political podcast out there that you will find that includes you in the conversation from beginning to end. So if you have any thoughts, opinions, information, or just
all right, we got
whatever.
We got Brady Den. Gotta love the no ice sign. Never ever mind. I wouldn't say it. I won't say it.
We also got a polar bear coming up the street here. I want a Slurpee. Give me an icy polar bear man.
I usually don't get that until about 2 o'clock.
Poor person walking in that polar bear costume. And it looks like they're having a bit of a hard time there.
Okay, we got a comment from Brady Den. Gotta love the no ice sign. Even never mind. I won't say it.
Gotta love you, Brady.
Right on, man.
One thing I do want to point out, apparently Brady's significant other had been walking down that sidewalk because, again, she had to go to the post office, which is right behind there. Apparently, the protesters got really agitated with his significant other. He and I were talking about it yesterday. And they were really agitated with his significant other having walked down the sidewalk on this side of the sidewalk.
That's insane.
And we remember last time around, we had quite a few people coming over to our side. This side where I'm at is generally where the counter protest would be. I'm just sitting here all by my lonesome covering it. So if I wind up dead, you know what happened to me. But the adjacent side is for the No Kings protest itself.
Yeah, I mean, where you're on our side and you're just chilling, and I mean, no harm, no foul. I mean, you're filming out there. We're both on live. You know, it's kind of not so much what it is from the last two protests. I mean, it's a small size, but it's only about what, 20 people, 30 people.
No, there's quite a bit more than 20 people here. I'd say anywhere around maybe anywhere between 80 and 100 people, maybe. I mean, it's not a very large protest. Mostly a bunch of boomers. You see a few younger people, but not that many. It's mostly people who are a little more along in age, for lack of a better term. And like I said, given the weather, I'm honestly surprised that we're seeing as many people as we are.
Yeah.
So the question is whether or not this is going to continue to be a thing and even grow in momentum or lose momentum. Because what I'm seeing right now, it looks like, in contrast to the 3 demonstrations we have covered in the past, this seems to have the least amount of activity, at least here. So it may be something that might be fizzling out, especially considering this is a primarily red state. You have Memphis, that is primarily a blue city, but that's really all that Tennessee has in terms of a Democratic hold. One blue city in Memphis and a few small pockets of Democrats in any given city. It doesn't look like there is too god-awful much for a Democratic stronghold in the state of Tennessee, especially southern middle Tennessee.
Now we're seeing a very nice blue sky. Nice to see a blue sky. Nice bright.
Yeah, it was
day.
actually raining yesterday.
Oh, lucky bastard.
Yeah, not when you're in it.
I would have danced naked in the rain, man, just for fun.
You would.
Yeah, I would. To all the viewers, you can also follow me on Minds, Gab, Cloud Hub, Parlor, Getter, also Rumble and X at Mando Network on X. You can also follow me on Mastodon. Also TikTok and Scoops.
Yeah. So, Ruben, go ahead and give us some of your thoughts here. Just current events, what's going on with President Trump, and a lot of the grievance people have with him. I would say, if you support your president, especially, you should be critical of him. You should hold his feet to the fire, make sure he stays on the right path, and if he deviates, make sure you get him back on the right path. So I'm kind of wondering why we're not seeing more from the right here.
Well, the thing is,
some
of the people on the right are backing him on taking Cuba, and right now Cuba is not doing any well at all because they've had multiple blackouts across the country in Cuba.
Yeah.
And Trump has threatened Mexico to not send them oil. Which,
yeah.
I mean, pretty much they're doing a blockade of Cuba, metaphorically, because Russia, they were told if they're sending oil to Cuba that there'll be some issues. Well, the thing is, there's nothing that Trump can do because it's a economical aid for Cuba.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
so,
absolutely.
Yeah. So pretty much, Cuba is living like the way we did back in the
The depression.
yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And
Well,
the thing
I mean,
is,
this wouldn't be the first time that we've had issues with Cuba. I mean, that's been an off and on thing since the 50s and 60s. So
59 when Castro took over Cuba, and then 60 is when the embargo happened. Now, the embargo happened 66 years ago. I'm like,
yeah,
look, Cuba ain't doing any well. Because of that. So how about lift the embargo, maybe?
yeah.
Because
Wow.
because the people
Sphincter boy. Somebody's holding up a Trump cutout, holding a sign that says Sphincter boy. We got another couple hanging out in the golf cart, and their golf cart has the sign, "Only Jesus is King."
exactly.
Now, here's my thing. Most of what the left is bitching about is really non-existent. It's mostly speculation. Is Trump a pedophile? Well, do we have any evidence to support this at this point? No. Is it possibly being suppressed? Maybe. Do we know definitively as to whether or not there is anything incriminating in the Epstein files that would incriminate Trump and that he is suppressing it? We don't know. We don't have that evidence. So anything that is being propagated in that regard, and in most regards from the left, is pretty much just baseless rhetoric. Now,
I had a good conversation with one of my subscribers yesterday during a video that I was doing, asking about climate change. And I said that climate change is used to put people in fear because climate change don't exist, neither does global warming. I mean, we have 4 seasons: winter, summer, fall, autumn. Winter, summer, spring, and fall. About it.
Well, I mean, you look up what happened in terms of quote climate change since the 60s. It started with, we're going to run out of oil in 10 years. 10 years later, nothing happened. We're going to have another, in the 70s, we're going to have another ice age in 10 years. No ice age. 80s, acid rain in 10 years. 90, the ozone layer is going to collapse in 10 years. The 2000s, the polar ice caps were going to be melted in 10 years. And Dick Cheney died up there with a blowtorch trying to keep the dream alive.
I mean, the whole thing is, for example, the fires in SoCal, the fires in Maui, the fires were done by climate change. No, the fires were done literally
by arsonists.
Yeah, by arsonists.
I mean, you have documented evidence that there were dozens of arsonists in the Palisades fires. We know this for a fact. Climate change the environment has nothing to do with it. Now, I am not saying that we shouldn't, recycle and clean things up. I mean, I remember staying at a hotel near LAX about a decade ago, and the sky was bright green next to LAX. Now, granted, this is an airport, but still, it just shows that we are having an environment, that we do have an impact on the environment. Now, is it climate change, global warming, and all that scare tactic bullshit? No. But should we do our part, to try to clean things up and recycle, not litter? I don't like driving down the highway, seeing the highway covered in trash. I mean, I don't like smog. I don't like breathing in smog. No. Another reason why I moved out of California. So, I mean, yeah, I'm not saying that we don't have an impact.
The only time,
and that could do,
brother, the only
do better, at least in terms of our own health.
Oh yeah, the only time.
But climate change is bullshit.
Yeah, The only time you see smog is when Hillary drops trout and fart.
Well, then she must spend a lot of time in California because there's always never been anything but smog in California.
Gotta be one big ass burrito for a fucking fat ass.
Well, here's the thing. We know for a fact, we've seen it during his campaigns that Trump has been calling out the globalists and campaigned on no more wars and rooting out the globalist war pigs. He's said it numerous times over his campaigns for the past 3 presidential elections. So a lot of people, especially on the right, are feeling that this is a promise broken. We're not seeing prosecutions of the globalists. We're not seeing the swamp drained. And now we're in an escalatory military conflict with Iran on behalf of Israel. So I can see where a lot of people, both on the right and the left, would have a grievance. Now, most of what the left is focusing on is rhetoric and bullshit, but there are some things that people can take grievance on and that Trump needs to course correct on. And if you love somebody and you care about somebody, especially in terms of a president, you want your president to do the right things. You want him or her to do what is in the best interest of America and the American people.
We got some thing on scoops here. U.S. B-1B strike Iran. Iran claims missile hit a U.S. carrier.
I mean, well, that's been happening a lot. Yesterday we heard about one of the military bases, and there were some American military personnel on the base that got hurt. It was one of the foreign bases that we utilize over in that region.
Exactly.
And a lot of people have been arguing that Trump is putting troops there so that they'd be slaughtered, and that would rally the people behind Trump and not only secure the midterms, but subsequently authorize the use of making this a full war and getting congressional approval for a full-on military war. Again, I'm just citing what is out there. I'm not picking a side on that. I'm just reporting things as they are with the best of the information I am able to muster.
From Ground News here, we got Vance rebuked Netanyahu for overselling Iran war to Trump, officials say.
Well, I mean, Israel and Benjamin Netanyahu in particular have kept pushing their military strikes. Trump wants to dial back. It seems like he really wants to dial back on this, but Israel's gung-ho about it. It's like, we're in it now. Like, we finally drug you into it. We're going full steam here. And I can understand to a point, because, you know, the mullahs are kind of like an engine. Once you get them going, they're going. And they don't want to stop. It's like, you started this, let's finish it. So I can understand where Israel might be coming from in regards to, hey, we're already in it. What other choice do we have but to see it through and keep going? So,
okay, Trump says Cuba's next in speech touting U.S. military succession.
Okay. And when would next be? I mean, the Pentagon had made it clear that there is no path to immediate victory here, and it would hurt the Trump economic recovery. So where is there a next here, provided we could even see the light at the end of the tunnel in this Iran conflict?
Okay, Iran says Israeli strikes violated Something like pledges to exact heavy price.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like I was saying, Israel kept going, even though Trump's trying to pull back. Israel's kept going. And it's really interesting. A lot of people want to focus on Joe Kent and what he pointed out here, calling him a Nazi and focusing on Kent himself rather than the things that he had pointed out. He pointed out straight up that he didn't support this military strike in Iran and what's going on there, and that it was a bad move, and that he should have listened to the Pentagon. And
exactly,
it's just been insane, and people want to focus on Joe Kent rather than what Joe Kent has been saying, which is, he's denouncing the war. He pointed out what the Pentagon officials told Trump, that what is already public knowledge, that the Pentagon told Trump this was a bad deal, and instead of listening to military personnel, he listened to Chuck Schumer. Like, seriously, why are you going to listen to Chuck Schumer? Chuck Schumer is a fucking lawyer. He has no military experience. You got an entire Pentagon who has wargamed this shit for decades.
Yeah, he also was advised by Ted Cruz and Lindsey Graham.
Yeah, Lindsey Graham. And that's who he was listening to. He was advised by Ted Cruz and Lindsey Graham cracker to go to war when the Pentagon and all the generals were telling him not to, that it was a bad idea. You're not going to be able to have regime change. You're not going to be able to resolve this conflict in a few days or a few weeks. It's not going to end pretty, and it's going to hurt your recovery. Top economic experts have told him this. Pentagon officials have told him this. So why aren't you going to listen to the experts in your field? And instead, he's going to listen to a lawyer like Lindsey Graham. Lindsey Graham has no military experience. Okay? No. That man would not know the difference between a military stronghold and a Pop-Tart. Why the hell are you going to listen to that guy? Exactly. And furthermore, Joe Kent was talking about the whole thing with the Epstein thing. He was told by the FBI director to squash the whole damn thing, to not look into foreign involvement, even though that's what we've been doing since 9/11. Okay, we instituted that department to specifically look into foreign involvement in assassinations or terrorist attacks or whatnot. But yet you have the deputy head of the FBI saying, no, we're not looking into foreign involvement. And instead of acknowledging what Kent has said on this issue, people are attacking Joe Kent and calling him a Nazi and whatnot. Okay, what's Nazi-esque about pointing out the prospect that this is a bad war, that this is quite possibly a no-win scenario? What is Nazi-esque about pointing out that the head of the FBI told you to not look into any foreign involvement? Now, you can throw Israel in the mix, but it doesn't necessarily mean Israel. Okay? You're talking foreign involvement. It could be Russia, China, Ukraine, Iran, Iraq, Osama bin Laden's butt buddy from 20 years ago. Who knows? It could have been anybody. Okay? You don't just single out one particular group.
Yeah.
And say it's Nazi-esque. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And we all know that Kirk was actually strongly opposed to Israel up towards the end and was worried that he was going to wind up being killed by Mossad. There are many reports about that, and I find it kind of funny that people are attacking Joe Kent now for pointing this out when it's been part of the public record since Kirk's assassination, and subsequently TPUSA has all but removed most of Charlie Kirk's content, especially as it relates to any comments on Israel. And now his widow is sitting there dancing pro-Israel, and is now getting all butthurt because a comedian is dressing up like her and doing a skit.
Yeah, I seen that. It's funny.
I mean, come on, take it with stride. It's called freedom of speech. It's like what happened with Afro Man. The police tried to sue Afro Man after they broke into his house in a raid, found nothing, and destroyed a lot of his property and stole a lot of money from him. And they tried to sue him because he turned around and used the surveillance video from his personal residence to make a music video.
Exactly.
And they lost. Again, it's freedom of speech.
He did countersue. He did countersue.
He did sue, and the department countersued. He wound up having to drop that case, I believe, and the police turned around and tried to sue him for defamation and I think harassment,
defamation,
and unlawful use of their likeness.
Yeah.
And they lost that case.
Yeah.
So I think it's the same thing. I again, like with South Park and what they were doing with Trump and poking fun of him. And Trump got super upset about it. It's like, honestly, if you wind up on South Park, that is like the ultimate celebrity roast right there. If you've been on South Park and South Park made fun of you, then you know you've made the big time. So I think it's just one of those things. It's just
if that
too
was
stupid
me,
to harp on.
If that was me on South Park, I would consider it an honor.
Yeah. And that's kind of what it should be. Is, you know, it's like the ultimate celebrity roast. Now, one thing I do want to point out here is Albert Pike. Not a lot of people know who Albert Pike was. He was the architect of World War I, II, and III. And pretty much the synopsis was World War I was to destroy faith in kings and empires, which happened. 2 was to pave the way for a Jewish state. Again, that happened. And World War III was to be political Zionism and Islam dragging the world into spiritual exhaustion, paving the way for one world religion by necessity.
Yeah.
And we can kind of see that happening. I mean, look at how many people aren't here at these protests. People are just to the point where it's exhaustion and they're tired. It's like, I don't know if people really know what to do with anything at this point in terms of getting their point across or effectively creating change. I mean, this protest and the past protests have been on Saturday mornings.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not really something that's going to grab a whole lot of attention.
No.
I mean, maybe if people were calling out of work and doing it on a work day and, you know, made some semblance of a lawful disruption, but this isn't really anything semblance of a lawful disruption. This is just a bunch of people standing in a parking lot that anybody could easily ignore.
Here's the news. Iran attacked on Saudi base, injures at least 10 U.S. troops, and damages several planes.
Could you say that louder, please? I barely heard you. Sorry.
Iranian attack on Saudi base injures at least 10 U.S. troops and damages several planes.
Yes, that's what I was talking about earlier. Now, I've got a theory, and I've been thinking about this the past few days, and I'm honestly surprised nobody has come to this conclusion. Nobody has thought about this. Nobody has even talked about this. And that is this conflict in conjunction to the building of the third temple in Israel. Now, Israel wants to rebuild the temple, but they can't destroy the Dome of the Rock that is presently sitting at the temple site, lest it cause a whole mess of military backlash and a public relations nightmare for Israel. They really can't do it without pissing off a lot of people and prospectively having the entire Middle East come down on Israel like a swarm of locusts. And my thinking is, if Israel does move to destroy the Dome of the Rock, they're looking to have the U.S. military as kind of a human shield to protect the state of Israel should they move to do this.
We got a comment from Curse Zero. Have I missed anything in the last 35 minutes? Or are we just documenting the event?
We're just documenting the event, Zero. So I'm thinking either Israel is going to destroy the Dome of the Rock and use this conflict to keep the American forces at the ready should the Iranians and subsequently the Middle East move to retaliate against Israel for destroying the Dome of the Rock. Now, another prospect here is the conflict itself. Israel wants to rebuild the temple, but they can't because of the Dome of the Rock, as I said. So what if an Iranian missile, for whatever reason, gets damaged or for whatever reason veers off course and hits and takes out the Dome of the Rock? Or that maybe Israel can make it look like that's what happened. At which point, Israel's off the hook in terms of public relations, and the Muslim community and the Middle East can't get mad and swarm on Israel because it was an Iranian missile that hit and destroyed the Dome of the Rock.
I would say if Iran hit the rock and make it look like it was an accident, I think that would be the biggest mindfuck ever, man.
That's what I'm thinking. Because Israel can't do it themselves because there'd be too much backlash, and there's no guarantee that the military forces, American forces, would really be willing or even able to hold back that firestorm that would come from pretty much the entire Middle East. Not knocking American capabilities, but if you've got the entire Middle East, every Muslim country in the Middle East coming down on one area, that's going to be overwhelming for any military force. So there is no guarantee that Israel would survive backlash from destroying the Dome of the Rock. I really don't see that as any sort of a real world possibility for Israel here. Now, if a missile veered off course from Iran and inadvertently destroyed the Dome of the Rock, well, then that's on Islam. That's their own dumb fuck up. They really can't. Islam really can't say anything against Israel at that point because there's an armed conflict and, well, shit happens. At which point the Dome of the Rock is destroyed and Israel's free to rebuild the third temple. That's what I'm thinking might be one of the biggest talking points in regards to this war that I don't think anybody on the mainstream or even any media outlets whatsoever are really talking about.
Okay, Zero says here, if we can't trust what we're told, then we don't know what happens. Let alone figure out why it's happening. This is a real general statement that umbrellas many topics at once.
Well, I mean, that's another thing that a lot of people are pissed off about is Trump keeps declaring that we've won this conflict, yet the conflict seems to have no end in sight. And a lot of people, both on the left and the right, are getting very pissed off. That's why I'm honestly surprised that there's not more people here in regards to these events.
This is why I said that he's pulling a George W. Bush. And
Essentially, he is. Essentially, he is, and he's really pissing a lot of people off. He's acting like George Bush, going, "I'm the decider. I make the rules, regulations, and deals." And he campaigned on no wars, being a president for the people. And anytime he does something, and the people point it out, and they're trying to hold his feet to the fire and get him to course correct, knowing full well he did something stupid, he's getting pissed off and saying, "Well, you're not MAGA. I'm MAGA." It's like, dude, you rode in on the populist wave and called it MAGA. Okay. And now you're deviating from the populist wave, and people in the populist wave who really were the founders of the populist wave are getting pissed off and pointing out where you're in error. And now people
Exactly.
now you want to get pissed off at the people?
Exactly.
Like, especially during the midterms. I mean, that's not very smart.
He said,
I mean, you need the people to vote Republican in the midterms, or it's bad. It's no bueno. It's bad news bears for the Trump administration and the Republican Party.
He says that Iran is asking for a ceasefire. Well, let me stop right there. Iran didn't say that. They never did.
No, they didn't. Trump has been proposing a ceasefire and wanting Israel to stop. Israel wants to keep going. Trump wants a ceasefire. He wants peace talks. He wants a way out of this. I think it's gotten to the point where he finally realizes he bet on the wrong horse when he listened to Lindsey Graham, and instead of Pentagon officials who are military generals who know what the hell they're talking about, realize that this is a bad move and it's going to hurt hurt the Trump recovery. And he's trying to backtrack now and get himself out of this mess and save face. And Israel's like, "No, we're already here. We need to see this through."
They even told him it was a bad idea. Okay, Zero said, "I found a meme from 5 years ago about USA selling missiles to Israel because of Iran, and he sent it to me." So let's see here. Think it's Zero.
Yeah, go ahead. Let's have that.
All right, here we go. Let me see. All right. There you go.
I cannot see. Let me see if I can. I cannot make you bigger. I cannot see. I'm covering the event. What do you got? I think I got you on camera there. There we go.
It says Israel to buy weapons from America was given with money given by them by America to shoot down Iranian rockets. Oh, wait. Israel to buy weapons from America, money given to them by America.
We're independent media, just creating awareness for current events. We've been here at the last several protests.
It says Israel to buy weapons from America with money given to them by America to shoot down Iranian rockets paid for by America.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, Israel wants to be able to keep going, but they've only got limited munitions. We've only got limited munitions in the area. And it's going to take time, money, and resources to get more munitions and personnel and whatnot over there. It's
could we say that it's called a military money laundering shit?
A lot of people have been arguing that. I mean, ever since this conflict started, one of the younger Rothschilds got on X and said, "History is written by the victors," and other subsequent comments. So, and we all know that the Rothschilds have funded every major war since the time of Napoleon Bonaparte. So it's not surprising that they might have a financial stake in this as well.
Well, the thing is,
I mean, we'd be fools to think otherwise.
Oh, yeah. I wouldn't say it's a war with Iran. It's more of an invasion of Iran.
I don't know. Well, where'd you go?
Here,
There we go. All right, I figured out how this works now.
It's more of an invasion of Iran, and it's all because of Bibi Netanyahu.
Well, I mean, there's really no doubt about it. I mean, and you look at this in terms of the midterms, at least. You got the process. If this carries on, his approval ratings are dropping way low. And again, this isn't being politically biased. This is just acknowledging the reality of the situation. And this is what I think is going to wind up happening. I think is what they're trying to push for. Now, a lot of people say that J.D. Vance is very much in Israel's back pocket. And what I'm thinking is Trump is too much of a wild card. Vance wouldn't have gotten in on the ticket by himself.
No.
So they needed to have Trump get in, and they needed to dupe him into getting into this conflict and making bad decisions to lower his approval rating.
If you remember Ronald Reagan, when he became president, he couldn't run unless he had George H.W. Bush as VP.
Yeah. And I think that's what it was here for Vance, only in the reverse. He would have never won on a ticket by himself, even against Harris, I think.
Yeah.
So I think they needed Trump, even though he was too much of a wild card. They needed him in order to maybe get him out and then advance J.D. Vance to the presidency after the fact. I mean, we've already seen numerous assassination attempts on President Trump's life. And with the midterms coming up,
brother,
and people, hold on. And with Nick Fuentes telling people to vote Democrat to spite Trump and put pressure on Trump, it's a high probability that we're going to see a flip in the House and Congress, and it's going to be primarily Democrat again. And we stand a very real possibility of that in Congress and maybe even the Senate, that it's going to wind up being Democrat, at which point they're going to move to impeach Trump, at which point maybe even bring treasonous prosecution charges of treason against Trump and have him removed, at which point J.D. Vance advances to the position of president by default and just moves forward from there. Because nobody really has that big of a caveat against Vance. I don't think you'd see as many people protesting Vance as you do Trump.
Would you like a free snack?
Oh, sure. Thank you. Very nice. Thank you so much. Oh, that was really sweet of her. That was really nice.
I know, man.
Yeah. A lot of people will say that it's Republican versus Democrat. We're all just people here. And that's where I really campaign on, is we're all just people, Republican or Democrat aside, take it and shove it up your ass. Okay, we're all human beings. It's not racist Republicans versus idiot Democrats. We're just people. And, maybe some people are being duped. Maybe some people are buying into the wrong information. It's always a caveat of the information war.
Exactly. It's like we mentioned about climate change, man. It's about fear, man. Fear mongering of the people that believe that this would happen or this would happen. But the thing is, now let's go back to if it happens, then we're fine. But so far, nothing happened.
Yeah. Well, you figure Trump. A lot of people don't like Trump, even on the Republican side now. And there's been several assassination attempts against his life. Now, you figure, regardless of whether it's an impeachment, a federal indictment for treason, or even a successful assassination attempt, come the midterms, it's a high probability that Trump might be gone after the midterm election. And at which point Vance would be the one to be advanced, pun intended. And not a lot of people really give two squirts of piss about Vance. as much as they do Trump. Trump, at least in terms of the left, is a hot button. JD Vance is just kind of lukewarm soup as far as controversy is concerned.
Well, I'm kind of questioning what happened to Trump during the election. I think that was a setup for more votes and shit.
It quite possibly was. I mean, I don't know. But what I do know is that we can't rule out the possibility of anything, especially with everything that's happening in present time.
Because just Ventura said that the attempt on his life was all played out. It was all a different show.
Yeah.
All right. We got Just Me Noble. Hey, guys, just listening. Just my opinion, man. Those sensations were psyops from sports, ones for government and for humanism.
Okay. Say that again.
Hello, guys. Just listening. Just my opinion, Tin Man. Those sensations that were a psyop, transports the one world government and transhumanism.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's another thing that a lot of people are really pissed off too, and I'm included in that group. Is his push for artificial intelligence and robotics. Now, I'm not saying that artificial intelligence is going to result in Skynet or that these things don't have a benefit. But in the immediate vicinity, in terms of the present time and environment that we are in, you got to look at all these companies replacing people with robots. You have restaurants replacing food servers with robot servers. You have an entirely automated McDonald's in Texas. You have countless factories replacing personnel with robots and other machinery. And I can understand robots for things like precision welds or handling things that are too hot or too heavy for a human being to handle by hand. I can understand a robot for that. But robots pushing food around or pushing carts around, give me a fucking break. There needs to be a cap off on this.
Oh, yeah.
Hold on. There needs to be a cap off on robotics and artificial intelligence use in the workplace. If a person can safely and efficiently do the job, then they need to be allowed to do the job and not have that job replaced or even threatened by robotics. It's the same caveat that we had back in the early 2000s with migrants working under the table. Hardworking Americans were being passed up on jobs because employers could hire an illegal under the table for pennies on the dollar. They could hire 3 or 4 illegals for the price of one American worker. And that was a big problem back in the early 2000s. And now we see the same thing, but with robotics and artificial intelligence. And there needs to be a cap off to that. And a lot of people are in agreement with this, because how many people have gotten laid off at Amazon or any of these given factories or food service workers because of robotics? There needs to be a cap off.
Now, I'm going to throw in a little gaming thing here a little bit, brother.
What do you got?
In the game Watch Dogs 2, tech companies were looking into a robot army.
Yeah.
And it was done by a company called Noodle, which is Google in the game. The whole robot army thing, man, it's like really fucking mind fuck, bro. Like, shit.
Yeah. Well, I'm seeing a lot of comments in the comment section. Do we have any new comments?
Yeah. Let's see here. We got Zero says, I have great thing, Noble. One, world government is good for business. Zero says, Mrs. Trump had a robot escort her to the dinner of UNESCO and even spoke.
Yep.
Noble says, his push is to make humans hail robotics. With the original conscious or personality, he's literally in a making of making us transhumanism and hooking us up to blockchain. Targeted people were and are beta testers. To put them in a target program. So Trudeau and his cronies have sold the government, have sold that river.
Yeah.
Trudeau equals Trump.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the robotics. I'm not a big fan of the transhumanist idea. I understand these can be great tools in moderation, but there needs to be a limit. There needs to be a line drawn in the sand. It's like, okay, we can advance technology, but not to the point of circumventing humanity as a whole or even in part. So, and I just want to point out to everybody chiming in the comment section, thank you all for your thoughts, opinions, and participation. This is absolutely wonderful. And this is what it's about. We need to create awareness of the things that are going on in our communities and around the world and take an active role. That is one reason why I can say that I do respect the people that have come out here today, regardless of whether I agree with them on any given point or not. The fact that they are willing to fight for and come out here and protest and fight for what they believe, whether or not we agree with them, I think we can agree that it's good that we have Americans who are willing to stand up for their beliefs and their ideals.
Exactly, brother. Exactly, man.
And not be complacent little slobs. And
now here's the one, brother.
Because that's what Operation Artichoke was supposed to be the dumbing down of society. Poisoning our food and putting fluoride in our water to dumb us down and make us complacent. And we need to shake ourselves out of apathy and stand up, and regardless of whether it's Republican, Democrat, Trump, or anybody else, remind the political powers that be that they are not political powers, that they are elected representatives, not leaders, and that they are here to do the will of the American people, not impose their will on the people. So again, I can respect these people for having come out and taking a stand. Again, whether or not I agree with them at any given point is irrelevant. The fact that we still have people who are willing to stand up, that Operation Artichoke was a colossal failure, is a beautiful thing to see.
Now, we got some news here dating back this week. ICE might be headed to airports.
Oh, that's old news, bro. ICE has been at airports, and we've actually seen a huge decline in wait times at the airports. Now, whether or not that is because of ICE efficiency or whether or not people are just avoiding going to the airport lest they risk being deported, I don't know. I'm not there. Maybe that is something that we can cover at some point. Maybe head down to the Nashville airport and go see what's going on down there, perhaps.
Yeah.
But
there's talks of ICE replacing TSA because of the shutdown, man.
Yeah, you have the shutdown, so they are presently there at the airports serving as TSA agents until such time that the shutdown ends. And again, like Chuck Schumer, man, that guy is like an old whiny child, man. He's kind of like that old man that just whines and bitches, that's kind of reverting back to his childhood and whines and bitches when he doesn't get what he wants. I mean, How many government shutdowns have we had in this past year since Trump took office? It's
Exactly.
ridiculous. Instead of
He sounds like
running the country, instead of running this country, all we've got is a bunch of fucking infighting. It's like, dude, you were not elected, Republican or Democrat. You were not elected to sit there and fight with your political opposition. You're there to run the country and do what is in the best interest of the American people. This is not WWE, you fighting one with another. Okay, that's not what you're there for.
brother. Chuck Schumer sounds like a whiny old woman complaining about queefing too damn much.
He's not whining about queefing. His mouth is fucking queefing.
There you go. Same thing.
I mean, he is so upset that ICE exists. ICE has existed since what, 2002, 2003? And nobody had a bitch about it. Nobody bitched when Obama was deporting illegal migrants. And he still presently holds the record. Okay? The Democrats weren't bitching when it was Obama that had people in cages, sleeping on cots, and all this other stuff that Trump subsequently got blamed for later. This all happened during the Biden administration, and you didn't see these protests then.
No.
But now you've got these protests. No ICE, no kings, no wars. Okay?
Okay.
Again.
We got more comments. TSA is just shat upon since 2002, but it has to go. TSA is useless. I agree.
Yeah.
I think people are waking up, but the grid's already in place. Targeting is happening in every single every single happening in his way, and no one is talking about it.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, people are talking, but they're talking about the wrong issues, like what like we talked about with the Epstein thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Do we know that Trump was in the Epstein files? Yes. Is he incriminated as having touched any children? Has any evidence come forward of him actually engaging in a pedophilic act with a child? No. Do we know whether any such material even exists? No, we don't. But yet you have people all over the internet and people at protests like this who will push the narrative that Trump is a pedophile without any evidence, and all you ever see in terms of imagery is AI generated rhetoric. It's like, okay, if he is a pedophile, show me the evidence and be done with it. But until you have evidence, it is not fair to make an allegation, and we need to focus on real issues and real problems that need to be addressed rather than bullshit.
I did send you a couple of links about Gabriel Iglesias.
Yes, I have seen those. Gabriel Iglesias. Carry on with that. Gabriel Iglesias was in the Epstein files, mentioned in an email where Epstein was trying to get tickets. If anything, please go ahead and pull up that skit. Show that video that you sent me. Play that on camera, please.
Okay. Let's see here. Let me find it. Okay. Let's see here. Let's see. Let me find it here.
Hey, what you got?
Trying to find it here, man. Let's see here.
I will say this though. This is a relatively peaceful and even quiet demonstration. There's not a lot of people out here. It's not a lot of people getting rowdy. Last time around, I had a lot of people surrounding me. It kind of felt like an attempted intimidation tactic. Now I've got people being nice to me, handing me snacks and whatnot. I mean, it's definitely a way different tone than what we experienced last time we were here. You find it?
Let me find here.
Let me know when you got it, and then I'll make you full screen. I'm looking at a sign that says reproductive women's rights save lives. Again, that's for abortion. Like, how is that saving lives? Like, what? I mean, again, there are things that a lot of the political left advocate for that really don't make much sense and are just kind of off the wall. But other things, like release the Epstein files, no wars. Trump campaigned on no wars. Power to the people. I mean, I can agree with a lot of these points, but the whole Trump is not a king thing. Okay, dude can't even run for another term. Like, what are we worried about here? And no, ICE has existed since the early 2000s. Why is that now an issue? Have you found it?
Getting there. Hopefully. Okay.
You got it?
Oh, not yet, man. Not yet. Getting there. Shit.
I see another sign. Drop prices, not bombs. We actually do have.
We got it.
All right, hold on one second. I'm doing a little plug here. I'm looking at a sign that says "Drop prices, not bombs." I do want to point out that we do got a new item in the Worldwide Assistance Network store. It is of Donald Trump shrugging, going, "Well, if the prices go up, they go up." It's kind of a how would you put it? Everybody remembers the Joe Biden sticker where he's pointing at the gas pump and said, "I did that." Well, this is our equivalent to that. You got Donald Trump shrugging, going, "Well, if the prices go up, they go up," which is an actual quote, whereas Joe Biden was actually not quoted in any regard to what was happening with gas prices. He wasn't quoted as saying anything in that regard, especially on a sticker. But we do have the Donald Trump sticker that says if prices go up, they go up. So if that is something that interests you, we've got them in singles and in 4-packs. All at RealTWWRN.printify.me. Again, that's RealTWWRN.printify.me. And Revan, I'm going ahead and give it to you. Go ahead and show us what you got, brother.
Officially mentioned in the Jeffrey Epstein files. In 2014, there was a comedy club called the Improv. The Improv is a chain all over the country, and they had one of their clubs there in West Palm Beach. I would perform there 3 to 4 times a year. The email reads from Jeffrey Epstein to his assistant. It says, "I need 6 tickets to the Gabriel Iglesias show at 8 o'clock. The assistant replies, "The show is sold out." He replies, "What about the next one?" She replies, "It's sold out too." That's it. Okay? That is it. 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 Yeah. Because I know you guys got nervous. You're like, "I thought Fluffy only touched donuts."
Fine. He can't help but make it funny at that point.
Epstein,
Yeah.
one of the most diabolical human beings to ever walk the face of the earth, had the ability to connect with politicians, with influencers, with celebrities. He put people in very compromising positions. He got people on planes. He put people on islands. He was involved in trafficking. He was able to accomplish all these evil, crazy things. But at the end of the day, he still couldn't get tickets to see
Yeah, that's hilarious.
Yeah, I talked about it in a couple of my videos. The thing is, David Iglesias is not political.
No, he's not. He tends to avoid politics in any capacity that he can.
And if he does, he laughs at it because all he wants to do is make people laugh. You know, make people laugh, and I like that because look, not every comedian is political. All they want to do is do their job and make people laugh.
Yeah. We got some of the protesters chanting right now saying, "We want democracy. We want it now." Again, that's a narrative that's being pushed by the left that a lot of people just don't seem to understand. We were never a democracy. We were always, since 1776, a constitutional republic. Yeah, and what people don't understand is that under a democracy, it would be a 51% or better vote. But under a constitutional republic, you have things like the filibuster that make it a little more fair, at least in terms of the electoral process. It's not so much majority rule as much as it is. I'm not even sure what the practical terminology would be.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to know what a constitutional republic is, look up Ben Franklin on republic, constitutional republic, and democracy.
Yeah, there are key differences. There are so many differences, but that is just one major difference. Is under a constitutional republic, you have things like the filibuster that keep political powers in check. Whereas if you had a democracy, it'd just be 51% of the overall vote or better. You wouldn't have things like the filibuster or the electoral college. And at which point, even in the last election, let me point out to our Democratic friends watching this, it's if the United States were a democracy, Trump having won the popular vote in the last election, not this past election, but in the 2020 election, he would have won the presidency by way of the popular vote because you wouldn't have the electoral college. That's a constitutional republic thing. Under a democracy, Trump would have seen victory in the 2020 election. And that's something that a lot of people really are not realizing.
I have here of the Canadian Prime Minister talking about Trump's war.
Ooh, what is the Canadian Prime Minister's thoughts on that? I would have loved for Connor to have been able to get on today. We did invite him, but he seems to be really busy with what's going on with the school that he's opened up there. For those who don't know, who might live in the Montreal, Canada area, his daughter was sponsored to open up a Taekwondo school in that area, in that province of Canada. And it's so far doing very well. It is very successful, very child and family friendly. If you are in that area, go check that out. I will leave the details for that in the comment section after we're done being live. I will make sure to repost that on not only the comment section of the YouTube video, but also on X and Facebook as well. Because I don't have that information right in front of me, but I do want to point that out, that we do excuse Connor to focus on this because he is helping young kids to learn how to defend themselves, learn patience, balance, and with a lot of things that happen, like with the Epstein files and the human trafficking, we want our kids to be safe. So if you are
with it short,
go ahead. What do you got?
Let the Epstein class fight the Epstein war. Earlier today, I wrote a letter to the Prime Minister telling him to take action to stop the war in Iran. It is causing a lot of suffering overseas. It is causing a lot of economic pain to working people here in Canada. And not a single Canadian should ever be put in harm's way to try and defend Donald Trump's foolish Iranian war. And I'll go a step further, and I'll say no American either. No American child from the blue collar or the middle class should have to die in Iran. Let the Epstein class fight the Epstein war. Let the Epstein class fight the Epstein.
I can't really say I refute that point.
President of the United States.
I can't hear you, bro.
we also got Tadarico, his opinion here.
States
Go ahead.
that I insulted Jesus. You want to know what insults Jesus? Kicking the sick off their health care while cutting taxes for billionaires. You know what insults Jesus? Deporting the stranger and separating babies from their mothers. You know what insults Jesus? Bombing innocent school children in Iran and sending our brave men and women off to die in another forever war. You know what insults Jesus? Covering up the Epstein files and then refusing to prosecute a single person in them. I am not a perfect Christian. I don't claim to be. There's only been one perfect Christian, and he was crucified on a cross 2,000 years ago. Jesus told us, he told us to love our neighbors as ourselves. He told us on earth as it is in heaven. Can we imagine war in heaven? Can we imagine bigotry in heaven? Can we imagine poverty in heaven? Then why do we tolerate these things on earth? The President of the United States.
Yeah, man.
Well, here's the thing about that. How are you supposed to have peace on earth with so many different ideologies and warmongering? I mean, I can't say that I disagree with the majority of his points, save the first one, because Jesus did also say, render to Caesar what is Caesar's, give to God what is God. I mean, there are laws in place that are designed to protect people. And again, 20 years ago, nobody had a problem with ICE and deportations, but now that's an issue. Nobody was making that Jesus argument in favor of illegal immigration into other people's countries 20 years ago. Yeah. Nobody's saying anything about the Vatican and their immigration policy and them having a wall and all the other stuff that they're doing. The biggest religious institution on the planet. Nobody's got a damn thing to say about that.
Because the Vatican is too busy.
Yeah, you want to point out what Trump is doing, which is no different than what any other president had done since ICE's inception in 2002, 2003.
Not just that.
Come on.
The Vatican is too busy being an altar boy. Man, holy crap.
Yeah.
Okay, we got an opinion from coming from Noble here. Most people in that crowd are plucked from secret societies. They are sleeper cells in those secret societies trying to bring order out of chaos. This is all a show. My opinion is what we are seeing is a lot of sleeper cells that belong to secret societies following their script. They were given order out of chaos.
Yeah,
I have
and
the opinion of all. And all I hear in the target community, they're now targeting every single human that is not in the club. The drones above
say that
us,
last one again.
all I hear in the targeting community, they are now targeting every single human that is not in the club.
Well, there's the vast majority of the human population for you.
Yeah. The drones above us are courtesy of Lockheed Martin, and they are pointed at everyone.
Oh, yeah. I always feel like Obama's watching me. Remember that video?
Yeah. I've seen a couple
I mean,
this
nothing's
week,
changed.
I've seen a couple of drones this week.
Yeah, I mean, you see them a lot.
But the ones I've seen were the same colored ones I've seen, what was it, 5 years ago, 6 years ago? Shit.
Yeah, I mean, nothing's really changed since the Obama administration in that regard. We got the drones. I mean, Obama was a drone happy motherfucker. I mean, he was dropping bombs on everybody. And again, you
And
didn't see
plus-
protests. Nobody said shit about that.
But
And I'm
they
not
did
saying that I agree
say-
with Trump's war, but you know, why
Brother?
the double standard?
Brother, they did say Obama was the first president to have a first lady with a bigger dick than he does.
Yep. Yeah, Big Mike, absolute pythons for arms, and maybe one in his pants as well.
And that's why he had a hard time sitting down on his ass. So there you go.
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, all those guys can attest we don't want to sit on our nuts. I must say this is fairly peaceful.
It is a beautiful Sunday morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is 10:23 my time. It is 12:23 in Tennessee. And it's peaceful.
Say again?
It's peaceful. Nice, beautiful day in Tennessee, and nice day here in California.
Yeah, what's the temperature out there in Cali right now?
It is 72 degrees.
72 degrees? I hate you.
Oh.
It's probably like in the upper 50s right now. I can't look on my phone right now because I've got the stream up. That's one of the only reasons we're not streaming through Rumble right now. I do have the Rumble account verified. We can go live via Rumble now, but I haven't been able to field test everything, and I wanted to make sure to adequately be able to cover this event without any sort of technical issues. But once I got the technical issues sorted out and I've been able to field test everything, we will be streaming everything through Rumble. It'll go from StreamYard to Rumble, and then from Rumble to all our adjacent platforms. So again, support the broadcast by sharing the live feed and following us on our various social medias: X, YouTube, Rumble, Facebook, all at REALTWWRN. That is REALTWWRN. And again,
you can follow me, Raven Ordo, at rumble.com/Council of Generation X.
Yeah. Yeah, and once we're streaming on Rumble, we'll have a placeholder video running that will have all the promotions for the online store, all of Revan's links. And if Connor wants, we can even put up the information for the Taekwondo school that he and his daughter are doing. I'll have to get with him on that as to whether or not he wants to do that. But yeah, that's the reason we have the new intro that is without the promos, because we're transitioning all this tech, and we will soon have a placeholder video in place of a elongated intro. So I'll make things a lot smoother and more efficient.
And also, here's some good news for all you Android users. Motorola is collaborating with Graphene OS.
Oh, really?
Yes. Motorola will be collaborating with Graphene OS.
That is awesome. I like the sound of that. One thing I do notice, we got a lot of people honking and waving and giving the thumbs up, but we are not seeing, I have not seen anybody smoke this crowd this time around. Last two protests, these people got smoked like a motherfucker. You had people revving their engines and shooting out exhausts on the crowd like a motherfucker in the last two events.
It's called rolling coal. If any of you drove a Dodge Ram between a 2500 to 3500 or a Ford F250 or F350 diesel, they would be rolling coal.
No justice, no peace, without democracy. No justice, no peace, without democracy. No justice, no peace.
Well, that's an interesting declaration. These people are saying no justice, no peace without democracy. Well, considering this is a constitutional republic, that's kind of problematic. Now, and it's kind of a contradiction too, because you're saying no wars, but what can you have in absence of no wars but peace? So if you're saying no peace, how can you have no wars and also say no peace? That doesn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah, I would say we are a republic, so democracy these nuts.
Yeah, well, again, if you're saying that unless this is no longer a constitutional republic, there's going to be no peace.
That would be a great shirt, man. We are a republic. Democracy these nuts.
Yeah. Well, you see the signs that say no wars, and you got them chanting no democracy, no peace. No wars, no peace without democracy. How can you have both? How can you have no wars and then say there's no peace without democracy? And especially at the last two protests, it was very prevalent, the idea of a civil war being sparked via the John Podesta plan. And that's one thing that gets me. They're following the John Podesta plan. The same guy who was in the Epstein files that confirmed Pizzagate. And a lot of people think that Pizzagate was something that happened at a pizza restaurant. No, a big part of Pizzagate was John Podesta in a hot tub with little kids. Okay, that was a big part of Pizzagate. And a lot of that is where you found out a lot about the code words they use, like one slice of pizza for 7 people. It's a really good time. Bullshit. It all came out in that Epstein dump. It was 3 million files, which apparently is only 2% of the overall cache of the Epstein files. Now, would I agree with Democrats that all these files need to come out? Abso-fucking-lutely. Yeah. Would I agree that there needs to be prosecution of pedophiles and the people who are found guilty of these crimes who are listed in the Epstein files? Abso-fucking-lutely.
Yeah.
Okay, but to sit there and perpetuate the idea of I just had it. Fuck. The John Podesta plan, following the plan of the guy that you are essentially protesting, who was in a hot tub with a bunch of little kids. It's like, hey, we brought these. I guess the email said that the kids were brought. The kids were brought in for your pleasure, but just remember, they're just kids. Blah blah blah. It's like, what? And like, you're following this guy's motto and protesting. A protest that was probably funded by George Soros continuously. We actually see a few people leaving right now. Wonder what's up there.
They're probably bored, man.
Probably. I mean, it's 12:30 here. They've only got about a half an hour left. And that crowd that just left was the crowd that was the most vocal. Most everybody else, pretty much around our age, Gen X or boomers, and are relatively quiet. And I've yet to see that one prospective congresswoman that's been here. I haven't seen her around. It doesn't even look like there's going to be a setup for any speeches to be given. I don't think we're going to see that woman who's running for the Democratic seat that's been here prior. I don't think we're going to see her this time around. I could be wrong. Still got 30 minutes left, but I've yet to see anything that's going to be an indicator. Oh, we had somebody who just said Trump is the best president ever. What you got, Revan?
Let's see here. I'm trying to do a thing on Gemini of Hillary Clinton farting.
It's not letting you do it?
No.
Try Grok. It might let you do it.
Grok? Okay. Still here.
Yeah, it's hit and miss with a lot of those AIs. Frankly speaking, it's like talking to a retarded child. I get so agitated with AI. Like, you want to see me blow my top, get me dealing with a rogue AI that isn't following the most basic of instructions that a child could understand, or you get me on the phone with an automated system that just gives you the runaround. Oh, I'm going to get so pissed off. Again, we need cap-offs on these things. Like, I understand where certain tools can be useful and beneficial to humanity, but they should not replace humanity as a whole.
No.
And it's not going to work out because we're clearly not getting technology that's even remotely efficient.
Yeah.
Because like you're dealing with these AIs, kind of like pulling
Ladies and
teeth.
gentlemen, if you want to have protection on your device, and also if you have your information being sold to, I'd say, the collectors of data and shit, and also
Data harvesting.
Get cloaked. Cloaked. It will be the biggest thorn in the side of scammers and telemarketers. And also, to protect your data on your phone with a number to cover your number you use. So when they try to call you, they're calling it the number you're using on your device, which is kind of like a one of those illusion men.
Horn blows, does the driver?
I would say horn blows, does someone's mom blow?
Well, I would certainly hope so.
I mean,
again, these broadcasts are not for children.
No, it's not.
You never know what's going to come out of our mouths.
Oh, hell no. We are, ladies and gentlemen, we are the only podcast with no fucking filter, man. We are filterless.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure there's other political podcasts out there that have no filter as well, but I'll be the first to say I will pull no punches.
We are a podcast with no condom. We will
bust all over your face.
we will sarcastically nut in your face and laugh about it.
Honk, honk, rattle, rattle, crash, beep, beep.
No pun intended.
Always pun intended.
Oh,
Why wouldn't I have pun intended?
oh, like the algorithm.
Nice. The power of the people is greater than the power in power, than the people in power.
It's no wonder they're trying to vote Harris as a first black lady.
Nah.
No.
I mean, Michelle Obama would be more qualified for that. Can't stand any longer? Yeah, it ain't no fun getting older, is it? Well, I look at it this way. You know, you got out here, you took a stand. It definitely shows that, you know, people aren't willing to just passively accept anything that is thrown at them, you know, regardless of where anybody stands on any given issue. You know, even if I am in complete disagreement with you, I can sit here and say, I can respect the people that came out here, you know, especially, you know, like yourself, you know, who, you know, might wind up hurting at the end of it. You know, you got up, you did it, you took a stand for something you believed in. I can at least say I can respect that regardless of what the issue is. At that point, I can say I can respect the fact that people got out and did something. Yeah, I mean, I thought I'd see a bigger turnout given a lot of the caveats that people are having, you know, especially with the Iran conflict and whatnot. I thought we were actually going to see a lot bigger of a turnout. It is. I mean, it was a little cold at first. It's starting to warm up some now, but
the bad waste thing. So a lot of people are taking all of their stuff to the dump because it's there are other things scheduled.
yeah.
I love the signs that people had. I had a lot of fun just reading the signs.
Yeah, definitely interesting. And I can see that. Did you make those signs yourself? Did you make those signs yourself? Nice.
Actually, this is from the first administration, and things haven't changed that much. Actually.
Yeah.
Anyway, well, you have a nice day.
You too. Take care. I said, you too. Take care. Again, I can respect people getting out and taking a stand against something, even if I don't necessarily agree with everything they stand for or most of it. I can respect that people got up and stood for something they believe in. And I would like to see more people on the Republican side taking a stand as well, as where they have agreements with the president and say, look, we voted for you. This is not what we voted for. You need to course correct. Like, the Republican Party needs to hold President Trump's feet to the fire and get him to course correct. We can have a good president, I think, but he's listening to the wrong people. The wrong people are in his ear. And he really needs to get rid of people like Chuck Schumer and Lindsey Graham and Spam Bundy and Toad Blanche. And yes, I deliberately said Toad Blanche. And, start truly putting America first, and, not letting a foreign power ride us like a fucking dog. We are not a pony to be ridden by the rest of the world. And I don't care if it's Israel, Russia, China, whatever. Okay, we can't allow ourselves to be duped into other people's bullshit, and we can't allow a foreign power to interfere in and have any semblance of control in our foreign or domestic policy. And that's not a pop shot at Israel. I'd say take Israel out of the fucking equation here. Okay, if you have any foreign power of any capacity, if it's Russia, China, whatever, trying to meddle in the affairs of the United States, that needs to be handled. And as far as Israel is concerned, I'm going to come right out and say it. Okay, a lot of people would say, we look at the podcast and think we're anti-Semitic. No, I'm not anti-Semitic. I am all for the good God-fearing Jews. I have Jewish family. I have friends who are Jewish. I worked for a Jewish synagogue in Hemet, California. Rabbi Marie, I never knew there was a female rabbi until I met Rabbi Marie. She's a complete sweetheart. I'm not sure if she's still there, but she ran Temple Bethlehem at the foot of the Hemet Center Mountain, near the Golden Era Golf Course. For those of you who don't know what Golden Era is, it's the studios of the Church of Scientology. Up in that area is where they have that. The Church of Scientology has their big compound, their church, and the big old boat. And they have the living quarters, the golf course that they rent out, and they have their Golden Era studios for all their little productions. But on the far side of that, there's this little building, this little synagogue called Temple Bethlehem, and I went and did a little bit of public relations work for them after I did the Interfaith Council project in Hemet, California. And she was an absolute sweetheart. Taught me so much about the Jewish faith, the genuine Jewish faith. So for anybody who sits there and says that I'm anti-Semitic, suck a fart out of my ass. Suck my dick backwards and buy me a milkshake, because I love the Jewish people. What I have a problem with is people who claim to be Jewish, who are putting a bullseye on the backs of the Jewish people and getting the general population of the world pissed off at the Jewish community as a whole. You have a small handful of assholes who are trying to make things hard for everybody and are subsequently putting a bullseye on the back of the Jewish people by proxy. And I wouldn't say it's anti-Semitic to stand against those people because they're hurting the Jewish people. Do we support Jeffrey Epstein because he was Jewish? Do we say bless Jeffrey Epstein? No. Everybody says let that motherfucker burn in hell. Does anybody like the Rothschilds, even though they're Jewish? No. Anybody I talk to who hates the Rothschilds. George Soros. And nobody, I think, likes George Soros. Everybody hates that guy. That guy worked for the Nazis, hurting his own people. He was a Jew that worked for the Nazis, hurting his own people in the Jewish community, and said it was the best time of his life. It's those types of people that I have a problem with, that make life harder for everybody, including the Jewish people. And yeah, I will take a stand against those people, because God bless the good God-fearing Jew, and fuck the people that are trying to make things harder for the good God-fearing Jew. So anybody who wants to jump on my back about that, you can go climb up somebody else's monkey tree. Because what I'm seeing it a lot. There's a lot of people who are pissed off at the Jews because of what these people are doing, and just doing the whole, well, guilty by association. And we can't have that. We can't have that. We need to point out where there's fault. I mean, take a look at Joshua chapter 7. You had a guy named Achan, Achan, who after the fight at Jericho, the Battle of Jericho, took some of the spoils of war into his house after God said not to take any spoils of war. And God got pissed off at all of Israel because of what this man did. And all of Israel went after this guy and said, hey, you're putting a bullseye on our back because you're being a jerk. And that's all I'm trying to do, is just point out where there's an Achan in the midst, putting a bullseye on the backs of the Jewish people. So anytime I mention Judaism or Israel, I want it understood where I stand. I don't stand against the Jewish people. I stand against the ACANs in the Jewish community that are putting a bullseye on the backs of the Jewish people.
Exactly, man.
Yep. Do we have any new comments, Revan? Again, I can't see.
That's about it, man. That's what we got for now.
No. We got about 15 minutes left on this stream until the protest ends. It's said to be going from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. And we already see quite a few people heading out. I think at this point, at least half the people that were here have left. And most everybody's just chill at this point.
Yeah, you can say it's a big failure today, man. Shit, in a way.
I mean, I would say that, like that one lady that left recently that we were talking to, she was saying that her legs were hurting. I would say, people who are up in age, like we see a lot of Gen Xers, a lot of boomers here. I would say, we're not spring chickens anymore. If you're going to come out and do something like this, we're not kids anymore. Maybe do like what I'm doing or what some of these people are doing. And, maybe bring out your lawn chair to sit down for a few minutes if you need to. I mean, nobody expects you to be a badass and to stand and dance and make a spectacle for 2 hours straight. I know I can't do it anymore. I've been sitting on my butt this whole time. And for anybody tuning in, we got quite a few viewers. Share your thoughts and opinions. Do you support or disagree with the No Kings protest? If you have any caveats against Trump, feel free to share your thoughts and opinions. Do you have any issues against anything that Trump is doing or anything you think Trump should be doing or could be doing better? Point out where you think he's doing good. And share your thoughts and opinions in all capacity. This is an open platform. Again, this is one of the few, if not the only political podcast where you are included in the conversation. Whereas most podcasters and radio hosts, they'll throw out a hotline number to let you call in and they'll take a small number of calls. Nah. I'd love to see the whole world on the podcast having one big conversation. That's what I would love to see. So if you have any thoughts, opinions, information, feel free to share it in the comments. We got 15 minutes left. And even after the podcast ends, keep the conversation going.
Exactly.
Because if we're going to change the world for the better, we need to talk. We need to make our voices heard.
Ladies and gentlemen, we do this. Once we end this broadcast, we want this to be a talking point video here, so all the viewers would comment and share the comment and have a civil discussion, because we need that, as long as it's civil and peaceful. Where, look, don't insult anybody.
Yeah. The Worldwide Resistance Network, even when it was Resistance 2058, the base idea was you had all these varying activist communities and all these different ideas, and everybody wants to focus on division. Like, whoa, where are we different? Where are we different? The Worldwide Resistance Network, when it was formerly Resistance 2058, was the base idea of the movement was not where are we different, but where are we the same? Where can we find common ground and work together to affect change in our communities and in the world? Because that's the whole prison mentality. Keep the inmates pitted against each other so that they don't rise up against the guards. So that's what the Worldwide Resistance Network is. It's a platform not to debate, but so that people can come together. And when people come together, that's when the greatest change can take place. Again, I can't say that I agree with every idea and every grievance that the No Kings protesters have. But I can say that I am proud to see my fellow Americans getting out and taking a stand for something they believe in. Okay, and the fact that we even have people who are willing to get up and take a stand for something, even if I don't agree with what they're taking a stand for, I can respect that they got up. As you see, ain't nobody on my side. It didn't all me here. Whereas you used to see counter protests. I mean, I don't see anybody really taking a stand. And that could be because a lot of Republicans maybe have some caveats with this war or something Trump has done. Again, I know most MAGA people and most people who voted for Trump are not happy with the way he's handled the Epstein files. They're not happy about this conflict in Iran, and they are definitely not happy about the executive order that Trump signed letting Pfizer off the hook. I mean, a lot of people have a lot of caveats with this. I mean, even Jones pointed out, he still tries to be pro-Trumper, but even he was quick to point out, it's like, yeah, you can have a punch bowl, and the punch was great, but when you come and take a shit in the punch bowl, the punch is ruined. And it is with a lot of the good things that Trump is doing. Like, he's derailing the Trump economic recovery, which a lot of economists said was due to work. But with this conflict in Iran, that's potentially going to derail it.
I want to throw in Cuba again here.
What you got?
Right now, Cuba's not doing good at all. Anyway, I mean, they have been in embargo since 1959, 60. Now, right now they're dealing with at least 3 nationwide power outages now, and I mean, you have people who are in hospitals trying to get a surgery, and the
power goes out, and they don't have backup generators.
Yeah. And I was saying this in my last video that I did. If anybody can help Cuba from the shadows, I mean, if you're an electrician,
I've actually gotten on frame a couple of times. Go ahead and show it to us. I'm getting a video of it right now.
All right.
Sphincter Boy, where'd you come up with that one?
Have you ever seen Wayne's World?
Ah, yeah, I get it now. Okay, that's what I was saying. I'm like, where have I heard that before? And I was like,
all right.
Yeah, we've actually got some stickers on our online store, REALTWWRN.printify.me. We've got some Trump stickers where he's quoted for saying, if the prices go up, then they go up. You remember the Biden stickers that you see on the gas pump saying, I did that? Well, now we've got a Trump sticker out with him saying, if the prices go up, they go up. So, yeah, so if anybody's interested in those, feel free to check them out. We've got singles and we've got 4-packs. Yeah.
All right. We'll catch you later, man. Have a good one.
You too. Take care.
So we need at least, I mean, at least we need to help Cuba in a way. I mean, if there's anybody who's has expertise in electricity, engineering, who help Cuba, man, best way you can. And Mexico, come on, man, you gotta have the balls to say Trump, fuck you, dude. Give us some oil, man.
I barely hear it.
Yeah. What I'm saying was, Mexico needs to have the balls, man, to send oil to Cuba.
Well, what is Trump saying that his move on Cuba is going to be? Like you were saying earlier that his next thing is Cuba.
He wants to do a regime change in Cuba. And he said he'll send aid to Cuba unless the president steps down. The president says, no, fuck you. I'm staying for the people here, man. You know. Because Mexico, Venezuela, and Russia has been sending Cuban oil for years, man.
Yeah, and I can understand what Trump was trying to do and trying to axe out China in the equation, with Venezuela and all that. And a lot of people are saying that the Strait of Hormuz and the issue in Iran has a lot to do with that. And, it's a flex on China and trying to have an impact on their economic hold in a lot of areas, which to a point is kind of understandable. But at the same time, you got to pick and choose your battles, and you got to be smarter about it. Because even the Pentagon pointed out to Trump that, going into Iran the way he did was a bad idea. Economists told him it was a bad idea. The experts in the Pentagon, who are military generals who wargamed this shit for decades and researched this shit, have decades of experience. I do not understand for the life of me why Trump would listen to somebody like Lindsey Graham over Pentagon officials and experts. Lindsey Graham is an attorney. Lindsey Graham doesn't know jack shit about military. He's never served in the military. And he wouldn't know the difference between a military stronghold and a Pop-Tart.
Hey, brother. Hey, none of them did, dude.
Yeah. None of these people he's listening to have the slightest fucking clue as to what they're advising on. It's like asking a freaking mailman how to run electrical or to replace your water heater. What the hell's the mailman gonna know? He ain't gonna know shit. Why are you gonna listen to the mailman on how to replace your water heater? You consult an expert.
I did send you a link about the U.S. Postal Service sending mail people to do census.
Yeah, I have seen that. Go ahead and elaborate on that with the few minutes we got left.
The idea, I mean, for years, they sent people out to record census. And it's supposed to be every 10 years. Every 10 years. But lately it's been every year. Every year. And
it's only supposed to be like every 10 years. So that is kind of bizarre.
Okay, let's see here. Okay, Bureau plans to use mail carriers in census tests already face criticism.
Yeah. Okay.
And it's not good, man. I mean,
go ahead and read the article for me real quick before we close out. We got a minute left. The protest is already starting to disperse as a whole. So go ahead and read that article real quick.
Okay. Shit. God damn it.
Do you have it on you?
Yeah. The U.S. Census Bureau is testing postal carriers in Spartanburg, South Carolina, and Huntsville, Alabama, with invitations to 154,600 residents starting May 1st this year for a once-a-decade census. Porters argue that the plan leverage mail carriers rather than also trust, while the Trump administration's last-minute changes have withdrawn criticism ahead of the test of this year.
Okay.
In Spartanburg, 25 postal workers will knock on your door along with routes. Identify themselves as postal workers, pay their normal U.S. postal rates. A 2011 government committee office review found using postal carriers as census takers is not cost-effective compared to non-postal census takers. Definitely rules conflicts as census bureaus said postal workers will follow its confidential confidentiality provision to take an oath for life but U.S. Postal Service rules allow disclosure, and the 22 plot was canceled.
Huh. That's nuts. Anyway, it's time to call it. The protest is over. People are starting to disperse. So we're going to go ahead and put the turkey in the oven, Revan. Go ahead and cue the outro music. There we go. This has definitely been an interesting day. It's definitely been a peaceful day. I can't say that I've got too much that I could really bitch about here. Try to turn my camera around here. I'm trying to turn my camera around. Here we go. Crazy. Where am I? I think I disappeared. There I am. Yeah, it's been an interesting day. It's been peaceful and quiet. That's one thing I do like to see, because you have had it propagated a lot with the whole John Podesta plan, sparking a civil war. So I'm glad to see that, you know, nobody's trying to hot shit off or get crazy. I'm glad there's a peaceful demonstration. Glad to see that it was a peaceful demonstration. And on that note, what, Revan?
It was a very peaceful, and it was nice. I mean, it was very peaceful. Nothing bad, anything happened. It was just people said they're protesting peacefully, man.
Yeah, and that's what I really like to see. And I like to see that people are still willing to take a stand and stand up for what they believe in, even if I don't necessarily agree with all that they are fighting for. And I personally would like to see the Republicans standing up and really holding Trump's feet to the fire in regards to this military conflict and other subsequent issues that we have discussed as well.
Yeah.
And in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and head home, get going with the rest of my day. For everybody who's tuned in and participated, thank you for tuning in and sharing your thoughts and opinions. And again, share the retransmission and follow us on our various social medias, X, YouTube, Rumble, Facebook, all at REALTWWRN. And until next time, I'm Chris Sheldon with the Worldwide Resistance Network on behalf of Revan Ordo. If you are watching this, you are the resistance. Stay safe, stay strong. God bless you all. Until next time, my brothers and sisters. Peace.